report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Hello, government.
Whatever. Street Report is here to make sense of it all. Street Report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin PCS number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonade 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds
in your face
on Ebonade corner
24/7, 24/7.
Dr. Sir Bob Manuel Udoku, designer Bakli Nogidi. Keep listening to Street Report with Martin on Ebonade 103.5 FM Ogidi.
Hi, I am Martin Epanj. Say my name to define mass media and it is defined. I am Martin, journalist to the core, a broadcaster if you will. I am Martin, the film director. I am Martin, producer. CKC call me metal or Mobile Piggy. Osuma call me metal. For know me as the lyrical killer who calls me Papua. Whenever I look at the sky from here, I think the most high was good.
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching from. Please like, subscribe, and share right. Hit the subscribe button right here. Remember to check out my book on Amazon.com, Hip Hop and Igbo Culture by yours faithfully, Martin Ifan Shuku Ekeze. Stick around, enjoy the program. Thank you. Yes, it's about time. Time to bring the people and the government, to the same page, bringing them together on the same table to discuss our, challenges as a people. Yes, it's time to cause social change, on our streets, to cause social change in our society today. Yes, we talked about it on this platform that before Nigeria can move beyond its challenges, Nigeria must begin to talk about some of the things that we shy away from. For example, the Civil War in 1967. Yes, of late, Governor of Abia State, Governor Alex Oti, is of the opinion that that war, was avoidable. And ever since, some, strong character or actor in the war are willing to talk about the situation now. And some are willing to talk about the war, the impact on Nigeria, its impact on Nigeria, because you can't deny that war, its impact still lives on today. Most especially its impact on the Igbo people. Yes, it's time to assemble both the people and the government on the same page, on the same table, to address some of the things that we, try to avoid from time to time. But those things affect us in one way or the other. Good evening and welcome to this awesome, wonderful, spirit and knowledge-filled edition of Street Report on Ebonade 103.5 FM. I remain the one and only Martin Ifan Shuku Ekeze as our number the first, the one that I call Metal. Today we are going to talk about one of the key actors in that particular war, and I'm talking about General Gowon, Yakubu Gowon. But before we begin, there's no way you talk about that war, that the whatever that happened, starting from 1966, the coup, without talking about the character of Nzogo. So there's no way you talk about that war without talking about the coup, because that's exactly what led to the war. The coup that happened in 1966, which was led by Colonel Chukwuma Nzogu, also known as Kaduna Nzogu. The coup, which was, would I say, phantom or understood or seen or, considered the Igbo coup in some quarters, That coup brought about the killing of top political figures in Nigeria. And there's no way you talk about the Civil War in 1967 without taking a proper look into the person of Chukwuma Nzogu. These and more will be the cause of our discussion on this particular edition of a Street Report on Ebonade 103.5 FM. I remain Martin Ifan Shuku Ekeze as our number the first. Now that we are talking about it, I want you to enjoy this one. It's coming from Sonny Okoson, the king of Ozibi. So enjoy this and we'll be right back. This one is titled Now or Never.
Ima na ife ada aka ebe ife na-adị n'ebe ọ na-adị FM 103.5.
Africa is now or never. You are winning or losing forever. Africa is now or never. Without winning or losing forever. Nigeria is now or never. You are loving or losing forever. Nigeria is now or never. Without loving and living forever. Freedom is now never. We are now winning or losing forever. Freedom is now never. We are now winning and living forever. Let me hear. Take out it. Yeah, come on. Take out it. And never. Natari, come on. Africa is now or never. You are winning or losing forever. Africa is now or never. We are winning or losing forever. Nigeria is now or never. You ever love it or leave it forever. Nigeria is now or never. We rather love it and keep it for good. Freedom is now or never. We either win it or lose it forever. Freedom is now or never. We rather win it and keep it for good.
Johnny Kamba. Johnny Kamba. Yes, it's now or never. We have to talk about these things now or never. Now, as Ohanaeze Ndigbo seeks apology from the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, about his comment on the war. There is still no way you talk about the war without talking about Chukwuma Nzogu. And this is how I welcome you back to Street Report on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. I remain the one and only Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu Ekeze, as I number the force, the one that I call Metal. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the person of Nzogu, Chukwuma Nzogu. Now, this is how it is. Major Patrick Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu was the first Nigerian to become an officer in military intelligence. Born on February 26, 1937, Nzogu was only 20 when he joined the Nigerian Army in March 1957. From officer training in Teshi, Ghana, the young man was moved to Elite Royal Military Academy, Sahot, the United Kingdom, where after 2 years of training, he was commissioned second lieutenant in 1959. In April 1967, Kaduna Nzogu, in an interview with journalist Denis Ejindu of Africa and World, despaired the fears of a looming war. He said, "Nobody wants to fight. The East, which is best equipped and best prepared for war, does not want to attack anybody. The North cannot fight, and Lagos cannot fight now. If they had attacked the East in August or September, they would have had a walkover today. I think they would be ill-advised to try." Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu was simply a man carried away by youthful exuberance, a soldier who wanted the best for his country, bold and brave, who did not understand that the problem with Nigeria was more than what a band of young majors could solve with the barrel of gun. Ever since, a lot of people, there is conversation, a lot of people think of him as a hero, and yet a lot of people think of him as a villain. Because according to Chinua Achebe, immediately that coup happened, Nigerians saw the individuals who did it as heroes till the, details of the coup began to emerge. That's when a lot of people began to see it as, Igbo coup. Now, it all began in 1966. A coup d'etat began in Nigeria on 15 January 1966 when rebellious soldiers led by Kaduna Nzogu and 4 others killed 22 people, including the Prime Minister of Nigeria, many senior politicians, many senior army officers and their wives, and sentinels on protective duty. The coup plotters attacked the cities of Kaduna, Ibadan, and Lagos, while also blockading the Niger and Benue River within a 2-day time span, before being subdued. The general officer commanding the Nigerian army, Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, was compelled to take control of the government of the country in upheaval, inadvertently putting Nigeria's nascent democracy on hold. His ascendancy to power was deemed a conspiracy by the coup plotters, who were majorly Igbo majors, to pave the way for General Aguiyi Ironsi to be head of state. Consequently, the later retaliatory events by northern members of the Nigerian army led to the deaths of many innocent Igbo soldiers and civilians, caused the Nigerian Civil War. It was said that, why he went on to Kanu and Kaduna to do the needful that he thought he was supposed to do, that even Ifa Jonah, who was in charge of Lagos, did not subdue Ironsi as they agreed. And that's why he failed the way he looked at it. Now, there are two individuals, these individuals are the major actors in that particular war. And Chinua Achebe, in the book There Was a Country, went ahead to describe them in different ways. He called the first one aristocrat, and the second one he called a gentle general. And so when we say aristocrat, we are talking about, Ojukwu Ikemba. And then when we talk about, the gentle general, we are talking about General Yakubu Gowon. Now, here is something you are supposed to know about these individuals, like General Chukwuma Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu was born on November 4th, 1933 in Zungeru in northern Nigeria to Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu and Grace Onyibano. The senior Ojukwu was already a legendary figure while I was growing up in the eastern Nigeria, known for his great wealth and success in business. Indeed, by mid-century, Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu had established himself as one of the West Africa's leading entrepreneurs with business interests spanning several sectors of the Nigerian and West African economies: agriculture, mining, transportation, and banking. So because of that, it was a privilege, for General Emeka Ojukwu. He was raised like a number of other children of privilege. Ojukwu was educated at one of the leading secondary schools in the nation, King's College, Lagos. Later, he went to Epsom College, England, and then on to Lincoln College, University of Oxford. When Emeka Ojukwu returned to Nigeria after his studies in England, he spent a short time finding himself against the wishes of his father, who wanted him to attend law school and join the family business in some capacity. But one thing led to another. Emeka Ojukwu went back to England to attend the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, and returned shortly after to Nigeria, where he joined the officer corps and rapidly rose through the military ranks. He was accorded a great deal of respect by his military colleagues, who admire his pedigree and education. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the gentle general. Yakubu Gowon was born on October 19, 1934 in Pakshin, Plateau State, under the circumstances very different from those of his military nemesis, Emeka Ojukwu. Yakubu Gowon's parents were Christian missionaries. His family spent several years during his early development in Zaria in Hausa land, where he received his early education and learned to speak the language of the dominant Hausa, Fulani fluently. Yakubu Gowon then received military training in Ghana and Eton Hall in England before proceeding to the legendary officer training schools in Sandhurst. He then attended Young Officers College, Hythe, Westminster in 1957, Staff College, England 1962, and Joint Service College, England 1965. He returned to Nigeria soon thereafter and became a star officer. His ability to assimilate would serve him well as he advanced rapidly in the Nigerian army. Now, the reason why I'm pointing all of these things out is that a recent statement was made, by the gentle general, just the way, Chinua Achebe described him. And this is how it goes. Gowon resurrects Civil War ghost. Claire's Ojukwu finally takes responsibility 54 years after. Gowon resurrects Civil War ghost. Claire's Ojukwu finally takes responsibility 54 years after. Now, former head of state General Yakubu Gowon has resurrected the ghost of the Nigerian Civil War and in the process ignited a renewed controversy about the carnage that claimed the lives of millions of Ndibo 54 years after the avoidable bloodletting. Gowon, in a seemingly shocking confession on live television, said he started the Civil War, clearing decades of misconceptions surrounding the origin of the war. Gowon surprised many with the revelation that he initiated the conflict as the head of state. This confession tends to shed new light on the historic event, challenging previous beliefs and highlighting the complexities of the war's narrative, including the crimes against women and children. Gowon, who dominated the affairs of Nigeria from 1966 through 1975, admitted that he started the Civil War while addressing newsmen after he visited President Bola Tinubu at the State House in Abuja on Wednesday. But in August 2020, former Health Minister Professor Alfonso Nwosu disclosed that he was in possession of the police report of the 1966 coup conducted by the former Inspector General of Police MD Yusuf, which showed that the coup was not an Igbo coup. Nwosu, who spoke during a video conference with Elumba, explained that Yusuf submitted the report of the investigation to Gowon, then Chief of Army Staff, but the Gowon did not submit it to the Supreme Military Council. He said that Yusuf was Commissioner of Police in charge of the special branch when the investigation was conducted. He said Major Ademoyega, in his book, made clear the reason behind the coup. He was one of the 5 majors that planned the coup. The army majors were Emmanuel Ifajuna, Timothy Onwatuegwu, Chris Anuforo, Don Okafor, Humphrey Chukwuka, and Adewale Ademoyega. Nwosu explained that the Igbo could not have planned the coup when they had Nnamdi Azikiwe as head of state and ceremonial president, a president of Senate, Nwafo Orizi, who became acting president, chief of army staff, Aguiyi Ironsi, and the first Nigerian to be made permanent secretary. The 5 majors that planned the coup were fed with the direction the country was going due to corruption in the country and crisis in the West. So you see that the war started as a result of trying to fight corruption. Now, Ademoyega, wrote in his book, Why We Struck. He was a core member of the 5 majors. Why don't people read it? He was in Biafra. It was not about Igbo coup. Why should they plan a coup against Azikiwe, their president, the president of Senate, Nwafo Orizi, who became acting president and chief of army staff, Aguiyi Ironsi? So the confession here is that some documents was, taken away. But at the end of the day, if you look at the book, There Was a Country, you'll see that, when we talk about the people who launched the first attack, it is the Southeast. But that was official attack, not the major attack, like before you begin to see, a situation whereby before the riots began to erupt. Now, this is the post, coup now that the coup was over, but the effects of the coup now, So everything that happened in between the coup and the retaliation before everybody moved to the east, just the way Chinua Achebe described it in the book, There Was a Country. Now look at this. Director of the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought, Dr. Sam Amadi, on his part, is describing Gowon's comment regarding the Biafra War was as disgraceful. Amadi said the war prosecuted by Gowon was needless and showed lack of wisdom. So it still boils down to the fact that it was avoidable. So after that comment, Ohanaeze released a message and began to seek for apology from the gentle general, just the way Chinua Achebe would describe him. I'm talking about Yakubu Gowon. So Ohanaeze seeks Gowon apology over civil war comments. Now, the Apex Igbo Social Cultural Group, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, has called on the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, retired, to apologize for recent inflammatory comments about the Nigerian Civil War experience. Ohanaeze also said his remarks was reopened deep wounds among the Igbo people. In a strongly worded statement released on Sunday, Ohanaeze's Secretary General, Okechukwu Isi Guzoro, said Gowon's comments during a February 21 visit to President Bola Tinubu were a deliberate targeting of the collective Igbo psyche and showed a lack of empathy for the suffering caused by the 1967 to 1970 war. We challenge Gowon to reflect on his action and recognize the need for reconciliation and repentance. Isi Guzoro said his steadfast refusal to acknowledge the pain and suffering caused by the war displays a failure to grasp the gravity of his role in the dark period of our history. The group asserted that Gowon's survival for over 5 decades, despite an estimated 3 million Igbo lives lost in the war, gave him a unique opportunity for redemption and reconciliation. As a professed Christian, we implore Gowon to heed the call of conscience and take necessary steps to seek forgiveness from the Igbo people by acknowledging his mistakes, revealing the truth behind the Aburi Accord, and issuing a sincere apology, he added. Isi Guzoro said Gowon's repeated insensitive comments undermined Igbo reconciliation efforts despite their demonstrated forgiveness and commitment to national development. He called on the former head of state to seize the pivotal moment to discard the relics of the past, embrace humility, and offer a long overdue apology, saying it would pave the way for genuine reconciliation and lasting peace and harmony. The Nigerian Civil War was also a war also known as the Biafra War, started on July 6, 1967 and ended on January 15, 1970. It was a civil war fought between Nigeria and a secessionist state that had declared its independence from Nigeria in 1967. Nigeria was led by Gowon, while the Biafra was led by Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. So why Ohanaeze Ndigbo is demanding for apology, another group came out to tackle Ohanaeze Ndigbo, and that group is called ACF. Tackles Ohanaeze Ndigbo, IPOB, for demanding apology from Gowon. Now, Apex Northern Social Cultural Group, the Arewa Consultative Forum, has expressed deep offense and pain over what it called highly provocative statements recently credited to the Ohanaeze Ndigbo and the indigenous people of Biafra against a former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, retired. The ACF said it took time to digest a statement credited to Mr. Okechukwu Isiguzo of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo, as well as the one from the IPOB calling on General Gowon is a grand patron to tender apology for what the forum referred as a nebulous sin against Ndigbo on his role during the Nigerian Civil War between 1969 and to 1970. The National Publicity Secretary of the ACF, Professor T.A. Muhammad Baba, in a statement described both statements as crude, insightful, almost uncalled, underlined by tinily disguised jealousy and totally uncharitable to the legacy of General Gowon, who records in the role under reference remains, we dare say, yet unmatched in the history of modern Nigeria. ACF said it is therefore highly regrettable that absolutely anyone will resort to such shadow chasing, knowing full well where the blame lies, regarding sordid, never to be forgotten experience in Nigeria during the period January 1966 to January 1970. So one thing is for sure, everybody, the reason why most Nigerians avoid this topic is the fact of the pain. A lot of people don't like talking about pain, but the truth is that for us to move forward as a people, we must talk about these things to move forward. But talking about it, we must be objective, and in the process, all we'll be looking for is how do we make peace? How do we come together as a people? Rather than keeping that in mind. Now, for example, most Nigerians are getting to know about Kaduna Nzogo, Chukwuma Nzogo, for the first time. The moves, everything that was done, he did not plan it with our fathers or anybody. It was the decision they took because they saw that corruption is eating up the polity, and then they make the move to see what they can do to save the nation from corruption. But Nigerians will not continue to suffer from, decisions that were taken by individuals. We must stop suffering from those decisions. The discriminations that came there afterwards, after the entire thing, we must find a way out of all of these things. So since after the war, it was no victor, no vanquish at the end of the day. So we are all one as a people. So whenever we are talking about each other, it should be the way of trying to, reconcile the more, to find our faces the more, a way to become brothers, African brothers and sisters, without the discriminations and every other thing that goes. Then whenever we want to speak about each other, we should do that with respect in order to keep the peace. But you will remember that before, Ohanaeze Ndigbo and IPOB began to demand for apology from Gowon, the Gentle General, you will see that even PDP, that of Abia PDP, started to demand for this. They demanded for this apology a long time ago before even, IPOB and Ohanaeze Ndigbo began to demand for those apologies. Now, this is how it happened. The Abia State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, said the former military head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, must apologize to people of the Southeast over his role in the Civil War. The acting state publicity secretary of the PDP in Abia, Abraham Ama, in a statement said Gowon's name unsettles a lot of people in the Southeast due to his involvement in the Civil War. Ama was reacting to a statement that Gowon, alongside the state governor-elect Oti, would lead a prayer session in the state on Sunday. So, but that prayer session never it didn't go down the way people thought it was going to. The prayer session is scheduled to be held as a Master Vessels Church in Omaya area of state. So even before he made the statement he made, while he was visiting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, already some people were demanding for apology already, and that is the Abia PDP. The question today is, can we move past this, hotning? Can we move past this and become one Nigeria and become one people that is not willing to bicker, but the people who are willing to come together to find better ways to develop ourselves, to fight insecurity together as a people with all sincerity, removing sentiments out of the entire thing. So that's what we want to know today. Can we forge ahead today in Nigeria without, the ghost of the war haunting us as a people? Without, things that happened in the war coming back to haunt us? A lot of people, Nigerians today, don't even know what happened in the war. We're not part of it. But somehow, whenever we want to talk, whenever we want to relate with each other, somehow the war is calling. The war is there, trying to remind us of what happened back in the days. So can we move beyond that and be Nigerians without, talking about those things? Like, yes, it's very important that we talk about it, but a better way, to get ahead in all of the things that we are doing as a nation. Yes, remember that you can become part of the conversation by joining me on Facebook. We are live at Ohanaeze 103.5 FM. Drop your comments on the comment section of the live video. Send SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. It's very important that we get to sort this, because basically, if you look at it properly, one of the major problems we have is that, tribal sentiment and the way it goes. If we can address all of this, both insecurity, every other thing that we see as a challenge today will be gone. So what is your take on the matter? We have to be very objective while we are talking about this. What is your take on the matter? What do you have to say about this? The numbers you call and then you become part of the conversation remains 070-3445-9334 or 070-4559-2210. Yes, nkata ibele data abolo nkata ụmụaka. If I na bata be head the okimba, it has to do with the history of Nigeria as a people, and I venture into Ifemena war because of Ifemelunki Bazua. The way a lot of people now addressing the issue. We need to talk about it. What is your take on all of that? Let's hear from you right about now. Hello. Yes, good evening, my brother. Welcome. Okay, Gabaniru.
Look, let us forget about sentiment or trying to deceive ourselves by saying the truth and saying I'm that thing altogether. There's no way you can forget it, because the internet makes everything to be possible. If you browse this war, you see that people message nonsense to us. This is the that kill our mothers, kill our women, brought out their guys, push them with machetes, with leaving their mother.
Look at the question. Let me, look at the question here. Let me point it out properly the way you understand it. Look at people like Rwanda. They had their own issue. There was genocide and all of that, but they have moved past that. That's what I'm saying. Can we move past all of that, just the way Rwanda did it, and they are now developing?
nobody should vote for that president. What is that? Share from the former governor of Cross River. Say that he must not talk to the power. See what is happening in the Yoruba land. Let us precisely. When somebody is telling Igbo that nobody from that side, nobody wants Igbo man to participate in the election in Lagos State. So all these things that they come, make war that comes out for the political mouth, is the problem that you cannot be yourself.
So what do you expect them to do now so that all of these things will become bygone and then we'll move forward as a nation?
Thank you very much. The only thing that we say for Nigeria now, is come to the round table and discover our reality, not our vision.
Okay.
My brother, me and you are our brother. You are from north, I'm from south. You are from Yoruba, southwest. How can we go to those churches from here? Then we come together. We say another constitution, not this constitution that is you need a thing. Look at what is happening now. After what Tinubu is got president now, only Yoruba people is there in the cabinet. What is president in the security president? Everything else. When Natama got president, so Natama will be in the security else. That's how country will grow.
Okay, no problem.
We will come together. If you cannot come together, everybody will go and do alone.
Okay, there was a time, you know, JP Clark suggested that what Nigerians must do is to go back to the old constitution that we used to have. Are you of that opinion too?
Well, look, I don't want to hear things from a class.
Okay.
If you want this thing is very responsible. If I suggest people, you need to respond. If you get in class, you know that what is happening now is happening there. It would I know that in class, you are the what the decision there. Yes, you will regret it. I don't want to hear anything from anybody from this or from our neighbors here. You will get the one fight against their brothers.
Okay, no problem. See what will happen. We'll allow others to come in now. Let's see what they have to say. So let's see if we can sort this out. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. What is your take? You know, let's hear from you right about now. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Master, how are you?
Very fine. And you, sir, how are you doing?
Fine. I'm from Onisha.
Okay, please go on, sir.
Thank you. This is a wonderful topic.
Okay.
So it's always good to bring up this topic once in a while.
Okay.
Yes. So we know what happened. So they don't tell us life. If you look at Nigeria, that was pre-Nigeria dependent and the post-independent. Nigeria before the Cameroon was very good. I'm telling you, people are living in the you will need everybody is living very happy. I thought I would but I really know where Nigeria was very good and very enjoyable.
Yes.
That was why people they went and they live at the north at this as well. And until the getting strong. I feel about that. This is what I'm about. Let me tell you, Nigeria can never be what it is now. You look at it, there's no who's done that before the war.
But you say that it was good before all of these things came. But there should be a way that by which we can get back to that. Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Please go on, sir.
Look at what is happening now. There's no sign that it is good because if you know something, I think we say
yeah, I get you. Now I can understand.
Good. If Nigeria is good, we'll see the sign now. 24 years after the war, we are still talking the same thing. I don't get my point.
Okay.
Now, is it supposed to be? But about Rwanda, how long did they want to take Rwanda long to damage their problem and damage them? It's 4 years old. I'm
I'm not up to what? You said I'm not up to. Okay, just continue, sir. Don't worry. Don't worry about my age. Just continue. Okay. Okay. Oh, I can hear you. Yes, sir. I can hear you. No. Okay, so you are saying that you concur with what Ohanaeze Ndigbo is saying. Okay, no, look at what the essence of this program today is, that we must find a way forward in all of this. I will need to allow others now to come in. So what is the way forward? What is the way forward? The way forward. His political ambition, yes. Okay, no problem. We'll hear from others now, because we're out of time. We're out of time. We need to hear from others now. But thank you. Okay. And find the way forward now. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, my brother. Let's hear from others. What do you have to say about this? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. Yes. Your name and location, please. Okay, please put off your radio, and then where are you calling us from?
I'm calling for the Nigeria is very corrupt.
Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from
Mpo. Put off your radio and go on.
Okay.
Okay, please. Call us now. 07034 459334 or 07045592210. What is the way forward? You know, that's the way I was talking about Rwanda. Rwanda had their civil war, and it was a large-scale civil war in Rwanda, which was fought between the Rwandan armed forces representing the country's government and the rebel Rwandan Patriotic Front, RPF, from 1st October 1990 to 18th July 1994. The war arose from the long-running dispute between the Hutu and Tutsi group within the Rwandan population. A 1959 to 1962 revolution had replaced the Tutsi monarchy with a Hutu-led republic, forcing more than 336,000 Tutsi to seek refuge in neighboring countries. A group of these refugees in Uganda found the RPF, which under the leadership of Paul Kagame, Fred Ruwejema, became a battle-ready army by the late 1980s. The war began on 1st October 1990 when the RPF invaded northeastern Rwanda. But why I'm talking about this is so that we get to see that at the end, they found a way. Today, Paul Kagame is the president of Rwanda, and they have found a way past this war. So can we find a way as a people today to advance beyond the war, leaving behind all the sentiments and everything that comes with the war? 07034 459334 or 07045 592210. What is your take on this? It is very important that we'll talk about this, you know. Now let's hear from you right about now. What do you have to say about this? Hello. Oh, good evening, my brother. Take him, man. Hello.
Yeah, one of the history from General Creed.
Kebi Sapai.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. Here they cover. Maya brought us the war. If you know, what the one man and a power would want. Oh, yes, you go buy a more buy.
Anyway, Obrono just mwa look in Nigeria. If I in Nigeria, kedo ka get we move beyond this. Na iya den ya na iya na achọ na program my brother. Iya na achọ bụ way forward. Way forward.
Okay. I know I can not done that because I don't have people face that business.
Okay.
Business when I see that get any go forward. To go and be a mom. I have what around the world. Kawara pogo war no get the anaro.
Anyway. Okay.
It's a one to go to the woman there because here the free am can send out one like one. Yeah. It's already whoever can roll over.
Na iya den ya na iya den ya
there was a contract.
Yes, by Chinua Achebe.
So and the one call gonna know why and apple or talk no why and apple oh why and apple I want to you know I thought or I'm gonna respect your way. The one call gonna know why and apple my last day at here. In Nigeria I'm at that man. I can offer landing for 3 million people for content.
IG fem na Rwanda when I try na compare na try ka ịmalụ ka Nigeria ga-esi we move forward.
My brother the killer man Bible because Nigeria na Biafra
Onyanwa anyị na-eji ife around the world we wele na correct kwa nke mela aja ọ ihe anyị na-eme mana ka anyị nụkwa from ndị ọzọ. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Let's hear from you right about now. What do you have to say about this? Hello. Yes, good evening, my brother.
Yeah,
okay, Gabani Rusa.
My brother. Rwanda, what happened in Rwanda is not also what happened in the Ocean Industry. How many population of Rwanda? Look, because the war is something of genocide in Israel and the
in Gaza. In Gaza today.
It was 1,000 people. It was that million. You were talking of 30 million, but we know that it's about 3 million. Because the country is not just
the question we are asking, we are not asking about how deep is the wound. We are asking about how do we heal the wound? How do we heal the wound?
That will make us if you wound to heal is only if Nigeria is only Northern or Nigeria is only Yoruba or Nigeria only
anyway, that's not what we're looking for a solution. And well, negenti solution and when young people not saying when they be Yoruba, when they be Igbo, when they be Hausa, not saying when your friends amongst Igbo and Hausa now about the war, about started for so but sometimes the sentiment of the war will come around to spoil that friendship amongst themselves. You know, so what we are looking at now is how do we move beyond that sentiment that Nandiabo friends, about young people will continue as the new Nigeria without that war. Yes, that's what we are looking for.
The only thing that will save us now as a country is to divide this country with the country good level.
Okay, anyway, that's not what we are looking for. We are looking for a situation whereby we are still Nigerians and we have sorted this out. Let's see. We'll hear from others. Let's see if others will offer a better solution. Just allow us to hear from others. Thank you so much for joining us again. What do you have to say about it? We need solution to this, and we are getting to the spot where we'll call it a day, but we'll find solution before we leave here. Let's hear from you now. Hello.
Hello.
Gabaniru sir. Oh.
My radio is not on.
Okay, on your bumper before. Man, Gabaniru kita.
Okay. Because you don't continue on the discuss. Him and Rwanda.
Yes.
Capital. President Kagame was a different leader. Talking in the book, because I saw no them one. Mbawa leader to Male. Now, becoming a leader is not opportunity. No comfort. Once we get the country like.
Okay.
The foundation Nigeria have built for our leaders now is opportunity, courageously. Anywhere they find themselves, they call it opportunity. And any leader who see any calling is an opportunity, I'd rather to start. Why Nigeria continues to linger, passing the problem they are having? The problem is that we teach this modern leader, they build their foundation by greed and selfish. That's not how a country, a citizen who build their foundation in selfish and greed will make progress. This is not sentiment. It's not sentiment that hold Nigeria down. Even if they like design Nigeria into Umona, that is immediate family, the problem cannot solve.
Okay.
As long as they are holding greed and selfish, we can't make progress. Okay. This is the way Nigeria has made it. What means is the problem Nigeria accounting from our generation now. Or let our leaders go back to the drawing board. Know the listeners of being a leader. Discover why they are leaders. No, it's any leader who is a separate leader can make progress. We change the country around. This is my take.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And with that wisdom, because we've been looking for solution all this while, you know, without wisdom, this is the spot where we'll be calling it a day. So that our leaders will find a way to become the proper leaders that they need to be. Like this, you know, some of the comments, you know, or the sentimental at the end of the day. Then another one doctor door at the end. We don't need to see all of this. The social cultural groups, and then at the end of the day. We must find the better ways. You have to go even in the government in what way? You know, senators should find a way even to propound laws that will prevent even the social cultural groups from pointing at each other in this manner. We move forward now as a country, as a people. You have to go. The war at this point should serve as a lesson to all of us that we must find a way to continue to live together as a people. And when we have that peace amongst ourselves, that's when we'll see the development that we are looking for. But that said, this is the spot where I'll call it a day on this particular edition of a Street Report on Ohanaeze 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way Friday, 4:30 p.m. So keep the date. You know, it's coming your way again next Friday. And don't touch the dial of Ohanaeze 103.5 FM once it's 6 o'clock this evening. Immediately after Angelus, there will be news. Till we meet again, I remain Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu Ekezie as our number the first, the one that I call Metal. Have a wonderful weekend.
about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general. Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ohanaeze FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Government,
Whatever. Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanishku, number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ohanaeze 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds
In your face.
on Ohanaeze Ohanaeze corner
24/7. 24/7.
Dr. Sir Bob Manuel Udoku, Zana Bakli Nogidi. Keep listening to Street Report with Martin on Ohanaeze 103.5 FM Ogidi.
Yes, guys, thank you so much. Remember to subscribe, like, hit the subscribe button right here. And then remember to also check out my book on Amazon.com, Hip Hop and Igbo Culture by yours faithfully, Martin Ifanishku. Thank you so much. Chani kama